Hey, welcome to Derby Day That Didn't Happen edition of David Palmer's Drink of the Day. You knew what we had to do today. We feel bad that we have to do it without a Derby race, but we're going to do one anyway, and I'm going to do it a little differently. The Mint Julep is a very important drink, not only in the South, but in the state of Kentucky. Really started in the mid to late 1700s as an herbal remedy. And then in the year 1938, the track at Churchill Downs decided that the mint julep would be the official drink of the Kentucky Derby. And each year since then, Churchill Downs sells about 120,000 mint juleps just at the track. Not to mention all those other mint juleps that we have nationwide at our homes and in our parties. And the original mint julep was served in a silver julep cup, and you'll see these as I make these today, and you'll see a close-up of one in a minute. But let's start out. There's a couple different ways to make a julep. One way is to make your mint syrup early, and that's basically steeping mint leaves in bourbon and letting them sit and then wringing them out and mixing it with simple syrup. That is what I've done here. I've done that. You notice it pull some chlorophyll out of the mint. The other way, the original way, is to get a bunch of mint, get it into a glass, take your simple syrup, and pour some on top, and then take your muddle. You want to give this a good crush. Now I'll tell you what, we've made a drink called the Bourbon Smash, which is basically a mint julep. It's just made with berries instead of mint. The concept here is to get that mint good and bruised up. Now a lot of times you can put that into a glass and then just put your bourbon and your ice and everything on top. But I'm making 5 of these today because, well, our production crew is going to love them. The rest of the people that handle the hotel here, you know, the maintenance staff and all that, are still inside doing the cooking and getting ready for a nice Derby Day meal. Get this muddle. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it in a shaker today because I'm making 5. Remember I said it's no fun to drink alone. Today we're going to use a little different pour ounce. This is our silver 2 ounce, maybe it might even be 3 ounce pour, but we need a lot of bourbon. So for every mint julep, you probably want to have about 2.5 to 3 ounces of bourbon. So we're going to put a lot of bourbon in here. That's about 6. Let's go a little bit more because we don't want to run out as we fill these glasses. Now while that sits for just a second, one of the most important parts of the mint julep is a nice cold glass. One of the reasons that we use a silver julep cup is because it frosts up on the outside. When it's nice and hot outside, nothing looks better. Now I also have a couple of this year's Kentucky Derby julep cups from Churchill Downs. Churchill Downs originally would serve these in a silver cup, but what happened was people started stealing them, so they switched up instead of returning them when they were supposed to. You're talking in the 30s. So now Churchill Downs does all their juleps in glass cups, as well as most other tracks will give you a souvenir cup that you can return, you can take home with. And then they can charge you an extra $15 for the drink. Let's go ahead and get all of our glasses full of ice because we want them to be good and cold. And you know what? We did very well with our ice. Exactly the amount that we needed. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. We're going to use a bar spoon for this to get this good and stirred up. You can smell the mint. The other thing that's nice about a mint julep is the presentation is absolutely beautiful. Let's do this one first. And then we'll do the other silver ones. Hopefully we've got enough here. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do the last one the old-fashioned way. Bourbon. And this is how a lot of your friends probably make them at their bar, and our already made syrup. Stir that one up. Now the next spot is important. Mint julep, above all, should be elegant and pretty. Sprig of mint into each one. Then we've got a little bit of our not as good a mint. Now here's the other part that we love to do on these. The Kentucky Derby is a very important thing in the state of Kentucky. It's kind of our chance to show ourselves off to the world. For years, as I've traveled the country, Kentuckians have been given a bad rap. Oh, do you have shoes? Did you get an education? All the stereotypes that were perpetuated in the 20s and 30s in cartoons and newspapers, and to this day by a lot of the New York press and media still says things that are fairly derogatory. Go ahead and get a close-up of these. These are absolutely beautiful drinks. You want to make sure you get a little bit of powdered sugar onto that mint. They're absolutely beautiful drinks. Kentucky gets its chance on Derby Day to stand in the light of the entire nation and to show how elegant and how awesome that we really are, and that we really are true sportsmen. It's one of those places that is deep in my heart, and with the old Appalachian Mountains that have tapped the roots of limestone into the state and trickled down into the lowlands of the bluegrass of Lexington and on into the western plains and coal fields, Kentucky is one of the most wonderful states that I could never leave. And because of that, Derby Day is incredibly important to me. It's one of those things that we celebrate as much as any day in the year. It is our Christmas, it is our New Year's, and it is what we love. The fact that bourbon comes along with that is icing on the cake. So I'm going to go ahead and have a drink with my production crew. I'll let you sit there. It's always fun to enjoy your day. Alexa, continue. There's one for you, and there's one for me. Cheers.